Okay. So let's talk about this. Let's talk about this matchup, the Alabama offense versus the Notre Dame defense. And believe it or not, I think it's closer than most people think because
What?
most people love Alabama's offense, rightfully so. Nick Saban has done a great job. If you look throughout his tenure, his offense has improved every single year
Are
to
you
the
serious?
point, yes, to the point now where they're averaging 49 points per game, 354 yards a game through the air, 190 on the ground, and they're converting third downs at 59%. That is
Oh,
that is disgusting.
yeah.
However, we're talking about the unstoppable force against the immovable object, which I think is Notre Dame's defense. They're only giving up 18 points a game, which is pretty good. Only 110 rushing yards a game, 224 passing yards a game, and they are third in the NCAA in third down defense at
Yes.
only 29%. Now,
Yeah.
I'll explain why I think this matchup is a lot closer, but first let's dig into some of these guys.
Yeah, dude.
Let's first talk about Mac Jones, the college player, one of the best quarterbacks this year in college football, who has a 40-year-old man's face. Okay,
No.
Mac Jones is look at him once. Look at him once. He looks
He's
older than me, for crying
there's
out
a
loud.
there's a lot of funny stories about Mac Jones. Mac Jones is a joker, dude. He's
Yeah,
hilarious.
maybe he's actually 30 years old playing in college. Okay, so let's talk about this really quick. He's got a 77% completion percentage. He's thrown for over 3,700 yards,
Nice.
32 touchdowns, all of which is tops, I think, only behind Trask.
Yeah.
In NCAA, the guy is a cerebral, smart quarterback who could do things on the field that a lot of quarterbacks just can't do.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about Najee Harris.
Oh, dude.
1,262 rushing yards, 24 freaking touchdowns, Tim, almost 6 yards a carry. This guy is Derrick Henry in
Yes,
college.
that's what
I
I'm
mean,
thinking. Huge build.
he's just a massive dude to tackle. And now let's talk about who I think is Justin Jefferson out there in Devontae Smith. To
Mm,
me, you're talking 98 catches, 1,500 yards. They're the same build, same height, 17 touchdowns.
really?
He's an absolute superstar. And
Oh,
I think
dude,
that
he's so good.
the thing is that Mac Jones and Devontae Smith have such a chemistry together that if you watch, like, there's highlights, you watch some of the highlights against that Georgia game, sometimes you might play the right defense against these guys and they'll still get you. There was one play, Mac Jones up to Devontae Smith, coverage was perfect. It was still a touchdown. There's nothing you
Yeah.
could do.
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes there's just nothing you could do. Mac Jones he's just such a smart quarterback. In the Iron Bowl game against Auburn, one play, run pass option to Najee Harris, keeps it, right? Pump fake, freezes the safety, throws a bomb to Devontae Smith,
Yeah.
touchdown. You
Nice.
can't, you just, I mean, their offense just looks smooth. And
He
speaking
does.
of offense, let's talk about their offensive line really quick, because they're taking a page out of Notre Dame's playbook. Because
Nice.
Notre Dame, to me, has always been one of the best programs to churn out offensive linemen into the NFL. Look at Quentin Nelson, Nick Martin,
Yeah.
Ronnie Staley, Sam
Yeah.
Mustipher, Mike McGlinchey,
Sam must have
Alex Bars. All we're talking about are guys that are NFL
Yes.
offensive linemen. And with Alabama, you've got Brown, Leatherwood, Dickerson. You've got a solid offensive line that just make gaping
So
holes
good.
and protects from Mac Jones, and everything is awesome. That is why they score 49 freaking points a game, Tim.
Question.
However,
Question.
yes,
Real quick. Are you concerned about Landon Dickerson being out for this game? They're
pot-
starting center
potentially,
potentially.
because you're going to have to deal with a pretty good Notre Dame defense. So let
Okay.
me sort of explain a little bit, go into this a little bit. The thing that Mac Jones really can't do, and we've talked about this before, Tim, is he's not really good running out of the pocket,
Yeah.
right? He's not like Trevor. Trevor Lawrence can beat you anyway. Mac Jones needs protection. Well, Well, Notre Dame sacked Sam Howell 6 times in that game against North Carolina. Guys like Adekumpu, Leofau, Jeremiah Rusu-Koromora. These
You said his
guys,
name right.
Trust me, it's not easy.
Jeremiah Usu-Koromora.
Yeah, these guys did a great job in both stuffing North Carolina's run and getting in Sam Howell's face, who's very similar in the sense that he's not as athletic. He's not that athletic quarterback that's going to beat you with his legs.
Yeah.
Same thing with Mac Jones. Adegumpo has 6.5 sacks this year. He must get pressure on Mac Jones and make him uncomfortable. If there's one thing that you see if you watch Alabama highlights this year, Mac Jones, for a lot of it, seems like he's got all kinds of time.
Yeah, he does, dude.
You know, and he can pick passes like crazy. But the thing is that Notre Dame's defensive line and their linebackers might be able to do the job and at least hold Najee Harris to not just killing them on the ground.
Yeah.
If they could do that, if they can wrap up and tackle and not give extra yardage, then that's going to at least force Mac Jones to have to throw the ball, in which case Kyle Hamilton, their safety who leads the team with 55 tackles, has to come in and help out with Devontae Smith. So all in all, you're talking about a Notre Dame defense that is, in my opinion, better equipped to handle like more of a quarterback like Mac Jones than they are Trevor Lawrence, who just absolutely destroyed them. So what I'm saying is there's a chance, Tim. And, we grew up in the Midwest. We love Notre Dame football.
Yeah.
While I want to give Notre Dame's defense the edge here, you just can't. Alabama's offense is just too good. However, I do think that they can slow down Alabama's offense, and I think this is the defense that might be able to get in Mac Jones's face. And if they can do that, then who knows what can happen. I mean, Mac Jones is Mac Jones, and he's just a super smart guy, but what he's not is a playmaker on the feet. And if they could somehow keep him in the pocket and get pressure either up front to flush him out or to get him uncomfortable, that might be how they can get off on third down. If they could wrap up Najee Harris first or second down, maybe get third and longs. I know I'm reaching, Tim, but let me reach, damn it. Let me reach. Okay, so if they...
Oh, dude, I'm about to reach. If
they're able to wrap up Najee Harris on a couple of these possessions where they can have third and long and get pressure in Mac Jones's face, that might be the recipe for how to make them uncomfortable and get them off the field and not have Alabama just run away with this game. If you ask me, there's a lot of things Notre Dame's defense has to do well in order to beat Alabama. And I'm hoping that at least there's a little bit of at least I'm hoping that they keep it close.
Well, son, I don't know if they're going to keep it close, because I don't know if I told you this last night. Since 1998, Notre Dame has lost all of its significant matchups.
Yep.
By a total score.
Every single one.
Single one of a total score of 266 to 98. And just to go through it real quick, 41-9 against Oregon State in 2001, 34-20, closest game against Ohio State in 2006, 41-14 against LSU in 2007 Sugar Bowl, against the Alabama in the 13 national championship. They lost 41-14. They lost 44-28 against Ohio State in the Fiesta Bowl in 16, lost 30-3 against Clemson in the college football playoff a few years ago, lost 34-10 against Clemson a couple weeks ago for the ACC championship. Notre Dame does not show up in these big games. And I think, son, just something I'm going to bring up real quick, and I heard it on Fighting Irish, one of the best podcasts on YouTube. Since 2017, Notre Dame has one 5-star recruit that they brought in. How many does Alabama have?
Their whole team.
Yeah, how many?
I can't guess. Tell me.
25.
Oh my gosh.
How many players has Alabama had drafted in that same time? Give me a guess.
Oh.
Just a guess.
I don't know.
All right, fine. 33.
33. Okay.
Guess how many Notre Dame has had?
10.
16.
Oh my gosh.
So there's a large talent gap, and we're going to see it. We got to see, is this going to play out on the field? That talent, it's just like, it's too much, son. And this is why I want to get into how Notre Dame wins this game.
Okay.
And son, I've looked over every video and read every article. Mm-hmm. How does Notre Dame win this game? How does a 20-point underdog who hasn't won any primetime games like this beat the best team in the nation, possibly the best team in the past couple of years? Mm-hmm. I have 9 things that need to happen for this to happen.
Only 9, huh?
Only 9.
Yeah, okay.
I think at least 7 of them need to happen. Okay?
Okay.
Number 1, they must play perfect in all 3 phases.
Okay.
Number 2, just emphatically. Okay. All right, number 2, Ian Book needs to take early shots and needs to make them. They need to stretch the field, which opens up the run game. They need to run for at least 100 yards in this game to allow the passing game to go. Number 3, because of the run game, that must open up the play action passing game. As I said, Alabama's really susceptible to good tight ends. Last week, Kyle Pitts, 7 receptions, 120 yards, and a touchdown. The week before, a couple weeks before, Ole Miss Kenny Yeboah. Say that again. Kenny Yeboah. 181 yards, 2 touchdowns. Ooh. So that's part of the reason why Alabama is kind of bad against the passing game. Notre Dame must use Michael Mayer and Tommy Tremble. And hopefully, in a way, baby Gronk, Michael Mayer, can actually really shine on this level. Number 5, Notre Dame cannot settle for field goals. Anytime that Notre Dame gets into the red zone, I don't care if it's 4th and 10, you go for a touchdown. You need 7. Mm-hmm. And in that same vein, anytime Notre Dame gets the ball in Alabama territory, you need to go for it on anything less than 4th and 5. There's no settling in this game. Alabama's going to get quick touchdowns, 1-2 minutes. They need the most points they can get. And on that same vein, I don't want them to get too conservative, but I also want them, and this is number 6, I also want them to control the clock. Mm-hmm. If they can control the clock, get the run game going, lessen Alabama's possessions, maybe by halftime Alabama only has 17 to 24 points. Okay. And number 7, on defense, they really got to stop them on 3rd down. It's so important. Like you were saying, Alabama is the best third down conversion in the nation. Notre Dame is the 6th best at stopping 3rd down. Mm-hmm. Notre Dame has to limit at least 2 to 3 3rd downs for Alabama to stay in this game. That's going to be key. It's going to be key. You got to put the pressure on Mac Jones on that level. And on that same vein, we need a turnover too. I don't know how that happens. I forget. What's their star linebacker's name?
Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah.
He needs to have a similar play like he had versus Clemson that first time, the scoop and score. Yes. There needs to be something like that happen. Some type of lucky bounce needs to happen. And that's number 8. They need luck. I don't know what that means. An onside kick that goes their way. Just luck. Some trick play that they need goes their way. They need that luck to happen. And finally, number 9, after you heard all those things, number 9, Alabama has to sleepwalk into the first 2 quarters. Okay. So they have to underestimate Notre Dame, and all of a sudden Notre Dame's up 14-7. And if I say this because if this game is close at the end of 3, let's say it's 27-24, in college football, anything can happen. Mm-hmm. So That's what I'm thinking. If 7 of those 9 things can happen, maybe this 20-point dog Fighting Irish can to keep it close or somehow pull out a win.
I mean, I definitely agree with you on one of your points where Ian Book's got to take shots down the field, because in that second Clemson game, he was holding onto that ball like it was a PlayStation 5.
Oh, no.
He's got to let it go, man. He's got to throw that ball. So I mean, again, predictions. So predictions, Tim, I'm thinking 44-20. I'm thinking maybe it's a 30-20 game, and then Alabama will just score 2 touchdowns and just run away with it. What do you think?
I think Alabama's going to win 52-20. I think what's going to happen is they're going to get early pressure on Ian Book, set his internal clock going. Ian Book's going to make some dumb mistake for like a pick 6 in the first quarter. They're just going to pile on. They're gonna really, with Najee Harris, they're going to wear Notre Dame down. Then Devonta Smith's going to have like 2 60-yard receptions. It's not going to be pretty, dude. The only way Notre Dame, and I talked to you about how Notre Dame stays in this game. I don't see it, but I wish Notre Dame has a shot. It would be so awesome for this game to go into the fourth quarter close. But do you remember when do you remember when Alabama beat Michigan State a few years ago in the playoff, like 38-3?
Oh man,
that's what I'm feeling.
No.
Yeah.
All right,
guys.
All right, guys. Well, that's it. That is our preview. Please, if you have any comments, leave them below. Smash the like button, click the bell for notifications, and we'll see you next time. Thank you guys so much for watching.
Awesome, guys. And we're going to come back tomorrow with Bears-Packers previews. I am so stoked, but I am so nervous.
No.
This is the biggest game for the Bears since 2018, and Aaron Rodgers is already talking about us like we're little children.
Already talking smack, man. I can't wait. It's going to be a great weekend.
Guys, thanks for watching the Son and Tim Show. Have a great day.
Take care, guys. Bye-bye.